know he has notes. That'll limit me to only a couple of 3 hours.
I am Ron Hale. We lived here for 23 years. Our property is immediately next door to the Luminant property. The dam for the Squaw Creek Reservoir is a commanding view from our deck. Folks at the nuclear power plant at the Somervell Training Center have been great neighbors to us, and I'd like to think that we were great neighbors to them as well. Being interviewed out on the front of this building by Channel 8 news reporter, I told him I was a naturalist, and he said, "Is that the same as a nudist?" A little difference in the respect that we do live out on a beautiful private drive, and not a neighbor in sight in any direction. And I do go out on the deck some morning in my underwear to have my coffee, but believe me, I'm not viewed by anyone. And it would be much to their displeasure if I was. I'd like to think of myself as a good steward for Mother Earth, and have tried to be for more than 50 of my 72 years. I enjoy the great outdoors. Some people worship in the cathedrals. I worship out in the middle of the forest. And I thank the Lord for all that He made. It's the old saying about only God can make a tree. I marvel in all of the beauties of the forest, all of the flora and fauna that's there. The insects, the birds, the reptiles and amphibians, all the fur-bearing wildlife. Our property, we've seen, I think, all that Texas has to offer, at least in this region as far as wildlife, with the exception of the porcupine. I haven't been visited by it yet, but I'm ready for him. I've got fresh vegetables in the fridge, and should he come by, well, I'll try to coax him to stay for a while. We're building a 1.25 mile long nature trail throughout our property. It's going to be primarily for handicapped kiddos and adults. Why? Because I have been kept from nature trails, even some of them at Texas Parks and Wildlife, because I'm disabled and they don't want me as the liability. Well, this trail is going to be for the handicapped kiddos, adults, and for anyone else who would care to take a walk on the wild side. There will be 2 outdoor education centers, and that'll be from elementary through college level. And one of the integral parts of the programming will be forest management, wildlife identification, and the protection of habitats. I look at our forest, and ours is, as I said, is a beautifully forested little valley. I look at it pretty much as a barometer, much like the miners used to take a canary down with them. Well, I've got the plants, the animals, the insect life, I think, acting like a barometer as to what is the health of our environment, right next door to the nuclear power plant. I have seen no problems. I see only beauty. We did recently see, my wife and I, an albino skunk, which I don't think that was a Comanche beach problem. When I was a youngster in Stephenville, and I was a teenager back in the 50s, we used to go skinny dipping some nights at farmers' various tanks, and then some of the farmers didn't like that, and they would normally begin to spread a rumor that they had an alligator on that pond. It worked. It kept us out. Well, I really do miss going to Squaw Creek Reservoir. I loved it. So did my kids. So did my grandkids. Now, I've got a great-grandson, 3 years old, that'll be coming to Texas for a visit, and as much as I would like to have taken him over there, I'll not be able to, thanks to the terrorist acts of 9/11/01. But I will still talk about the beauty of the reservoir over there, the great biodiversity that was around that lake. I used to love to canoe it. I loved especially going back to the little marshy or kind of swamp areas that, to me, it was meticulously clean. In fact, it was just nearly unnaturally clean because the park staff was so good about, they even picked up cigarette butts and Coke can tabs and so forth. I really did like that reservoir. I look forward to the day that we may be allowed to start coming back, although I have been told that there might be a 13-foot gator over there. That being so, probably keep me out again. One of my I guess biggest benefits living next door to the nuclear power plant. I met Bruce Turner, who is over the environmental division of the Comanche Peak nuclear power plant. Some years ago, after I had won the Texas Environmental Excellence Award back in 1999, he called and asked would I serve on a Citizens Environmental Advisory Committee. And I really didn't know that I had that much to offer, but I said, anytime that he calls, I'll respond. I'd be happy to come. When he has his ever so often scheduled meetings, number one, they feed us a great meal, but then he has a fantastic program of showing the goals and the objectives that have been set before him. And he gives us step-by-step progress reports on those goals and objectives. And he walks with 7-league boots, 2-legged shoe off. But he and Rafael Flores, Mike Blevins, David Rutledge out of Luminous office in Dallas have done, I think, a superior job, environmentally speaking, toward ensuring our clean air, earth, and water. We are very happy campers. We're next door neighbors to them. I've heard it said many times today how that Comanche Peak nuclear power plant, Arlen, and RTXU was a good neighbor. They genuinely have been a good neighbor to us, and I hope that we to them. Don't want to take any more of your time. I'm a very happy camper being next to them. Nothing negative to say. Don't have 1/10 the brain power of many of these great and wonderful speakers that have been up here today, but I'm just giving a positive viewpoint on the barometer that we have throughout our heavily forested little valley, that everything is looking pretty good right now. Thank you for your time.